recording here, and we can just get started.
All right, cool. Reinhardt back. Reinhardt down.
Alrighty,
Damn.
gotta make sure that you're using your shift much more often. You're pretty much gonna be using that one every time you get it. You're looking to use it. That's going to make sure that you're kind of rotating in and out your shields, and your team is constantly protected. And then the other thing that does is actually gives you shield health, so you're gonna get
Uh-huh.
more health on your character. So that's gonna help you stay alive longer. So we didn't actually use that once there, so make sure that you're using that cooldown.
I will. Okay. I usually use it more. I just didn't want to. I know it doesn't work for Zarya, but I'll try to work on it more.
Yeah, but there's things like Fire Strike and just any other
Mm.
character that shoots at us, really. Okay, very nice ult usage and placement. Good mechanics so far.
Thank you.
Okay. Make sure that you're in front of your team. A lot of times you're kind of lagging behind your whole team when they're pushing forwards. You are the main thing, so make sure you're kind of trying to stick towards the front of your whole team. Now, on top of that, make sure you're getting more aggressive when you see that you're up and down people. We'll go more into depth on that after the round is done here, but just keep in mind we're looking to get more aggressive
Soldier up.
when we're up kills.
Oh shit.
Alrighty, so Never mind the touch. Oh yeah, there we sent shield a little too far into it.
Yeah.
Whenever you're trying to shield something, it's usually just best that you place it right in front of you, and then there we just kind of mistimed it. When you see that you mistime it, just like re-put it out there. So I'll probably say one of the biggest things that I'm noticing now, you guys are absolutely rolling them, but one of the biggest things that I'm noticing is your kind of aggression and when you're pushing forwards aggressively. So um, essentially, how that works is when you're up 1 to 2. Sorry, rewording stuff here. So you have to pay attention to whether or not you're winning or losing fights, and when you're winning or losing the fights, that's going to depend on how aggressive you're getting. So that comes down to watching kill feed, right? When you watch kill feed in the top right corner of your screen, that tells you when you're up kills, when you're down kills. If you're up 1 to 2 people, that means that you are winning the fight, right? And you can therefore play more aggressive and look to go in and get more kills. When you're up 2 to 3 people, that's pretty much where you have won the fight. Now that's where you don't want to use any ultimates anymore. I haven't seen that as a big problem so far, though. You want to be playing super aggressive when you're up 2 to 3 because you're just looking to go in and get stagger kills. Now this also goes the exact opposite way. When you're down 1 to 2 people, you want to look to back up and play a little bit more passive, but you didn't lose the fight yet. When you're down 2 to 3 people, that is where you have pretty much lost the fight, right? That's where you're looking to get out if you can, or you're looking to die if you don't think you can get out. And then you also don't want to use ults when you've lost the fight. So just really pay attention to the kill feed, as a lot of times, especially, we're not just getting aggressive enough when we have the advantage.
Yeah, I'm not very good at watching the kill feed, if I'm being honest. I usually don't even see it.
Okay, where we're holding right now is not a great position at all, but we want to be more on the left. I'll explain why after the game's done. Okay, very good job not holding on to that. And that's where we're just looking to push forward now. We're just trying to get these stagger kills. And now they're starting to get their players back, we can look to back up. Alright, so we gotta pay attention to the respawns as well. Oh, very nice.
Damn.
Alrighty. So
I didn't know the rest of my team was killed.
Yep, so when it comes to watching kill feed, at that point you had already lost the fight, but when it comes to just watching kill feed, you're making sure you're paying attention to it more. Just every time you hear someone die, see someone die, take a glance at it. When you see movement happening on the top right corner, that's where you take a glance at it. You're not always going to be paying attention to it 24/7. You just glance at it every once in a while. Again, there, we're kind of playing way too passive. When we are the main tank, we have to be the ones touching cart. It's not the job for our team to try to do. So, us in this composition, like I was saying, you might not be familiar with the term, or if you are, you're the main tank. So you are the tank on your team that has the shield. You have all of the tanking abilities. Therefore, you need to be in the front of your whole team. There, we kind of sat in the middle of our team, right? Which means that nobody on touching cart, they don't get any shields. They don't get any protection, right? And then that's gonna be a big problem.
I gotcha. I guess that's true. I'm playing kind of back a little bit. That was a bad ult. Oh, I got a couple.
Okay. When you are ulting, just keep in mind, like, while they're in midair, you have one single fire that you can
Mm-hmm.
use, and then after that, you're now looking at the ground. We are still looking in the air after we shot the first shot, so just be ready for them to be going to the ground.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Again, that was a kind of bad play to be going for, and I'll explain more on that topic after this game is done. But just in
Too
general,
aggressive.
yeah, too aggressive, out of position. We'll talk about just positioning in general after this game's done, because there's too much to talk about, and I want the visual as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't realize the escort was so far back. I was trying to be more aggressive, but way
Yep.
too much.
Even if the car had been a little bit closer, probably holding on the other side of bridge would have been better. And
That
I'll
makes
again,
sense.
like I'll explain really the main point why after this game is done.
Don't push too far out. Back.
Ah, shit.
Alrighty. So again, positioning stuff there. Positioning is probably going to be the main thing that we're going to be going over, as it seems like you're
Mm-hmm.
very solid mechanics-wise. You're hitting a lot of shots. You have very, very good ultimates, especially for that of a bronze player. It's just that our positioning results in us dying a ton, and then that means that we lose a ton of value.
Zarya in the pocket. Zarya in the pocket. Sigma, when they come through.
Alright, good game. Would you mind real quick typing in chat to both Sox fans, just say Tabugi says hi? That was my old manager.
Boogie says hi.
Yeah, that's fine.
How do I type to him?
Oh, you can. I mean, you can say it. I don't think you can whisper him. You can just say
Oh,
it in team
okay.
chat. Oh, he just left the game, I think. Whoops.
It's too late. Sorry.
You're good. All right, so I'm gonna stream over on Discord if you want to go take a look.
Sure. Let me leave this game.
Just let me get it open real quick. Alrighty, I am streaming. Alrighty, so we're gonna go over some stuff here, and then I'm just gonna go to the map so that we can look over a lot of that positioning stuff. So that was Rialto. So, just we'll do a general kind of strengths and weaknesses thing here real quick. Kind of what I'm noticing that you're really good at, what I'm noticing that we need some work on. So far, very, very good, like fantastic ultimate usage for your rank. You have probably better ult usage than a lot of plat players that I coach. Your ultimate usage is very on point. You use it at the right times. You get a ton of people in them when you use them, and you get kills out of them. So no problems with your ultimates. Mechanics, very similar. You have very good mechanics. You have very good rock usage as well. Now shield management, I'd like to see. Like that's something I'm gonna have to take more of a look at, as well as your shift. We were using that infrequently to start off, and then sorry, I'm gonna turn my volume down. So we were using shift a little infrequently, and then we were shield management I also want to take a look at more, but rock, general mechanics and flux usage and ultimate usage were all of our strong suits. So those are our strengths. Weaknesses, number one thing is going to be our positioning, as a lot of the time our positioning led to our death, right? And we, when you're dying it's a lot more, you're just losing value. So for example, like let's just throw a number out there, we have 10 deaths a game. If we can cut out 3 deaths, let's say that, and 1 death is 10 seconds of respawn time, and then roughly 10 seconds of walking back. So it's 20 seconds of death, which is a whole 60 seconds per 3 deaths. So that means that if we can cut out 3 deaths out of our gameplay, we are participating in the middle of fights, for an extra 60 seconds per game, right? Which is a pretty nuts thing to think about, as well as the fact that, like, a lot of times when we die at the beginning of fights. And as we were talking about with, whether or not you're winning or losing, your death a lot of the times will like kind of put your team at a disadvantage, will lose fights. So if we're dying, that's putting our team at a, big disadvantage, and we're going to lose those fights. So it's not just time being alive, it's also time being alive in more fights. So, essentially, we want to really work on our positioning so that we can die less and therefore do more. So we'll go over positioning basics here. So first off, just general positioning. If we are standing right here, right, and enemy team standing right there, and they all start shooting at us, then that means that it takes us 1, 2, 2.5 seconds to get behind this piece of cover, right? And now they can't shoot at us. Now we're safe, right? But in that time it took us to walk here, we probably died, right? Because we have 6 people shooting at us, or they're ulting at us, or whatever. We got shredded in that amount of time. So that is bad positioning. The absence of cover is bad positioning. The usage of cover is good positioning. So if we're standing right here, there's a whole load of benefits we get from this. It now takes us half a second to duck behind cover rather than 2.5 seconds. And that means that if we start getting shot at, we are now safe in half a second, right? We can just duck behind this. So this is much better positioning because we're using cover. And there's a lot of different types of cover. Corners are going to be a big major one because they're all over the place. We can use walls. Okay, we have little pillar things. Right? Those aren't going to cover much, but there's more pillars at other places. Okay, you can use random objects that you find around the place where we can duck in and out of objects. Okay, doorways we can use. High grounds act as really good cover usage, as when we're up on a high ground, we get a bunch of benefits. We have a ton of visibility. We see what's going on. 1 second we can be shooting over here. Another second we can be over here. We can duck away from the ledge, and then now people can't see us, right? So we can see them, we duck away, and we add in a crouch, and now they can't see us, so it acts as natural cover. And then on top of that, a lot of characters in the game can't get up to us on high ground, so that means that high ground's going to stop a lot of people from getting to us, and even the people who can get up to high ground need to use abilities, so it gets abilities out of them. So that's just basic positioning. In general, we should be looking to play next to cover. Some other benefits that get to us tanks is when we place shield, we want to look to kind of place shield in the middle of the wall here. What that does for us is it means that since shield's only half of it's visible, it means that it's only going to be taking a fraction of the spam damage, right? It's not going to be taking nearly as much spam damage, and therefore it'll stay alive longer, and we can use it longer. When we're playing on cover, it also, as like the main tank, is if we're in front of our team. Now, in bronze, people might not pay attention to you a whole lot, right? But especially the higher up you go, people are kind of going to follow you around, right? You're going to have more of an impact on where your team's positioning than, let's say, for example, like an Ana, right? You dictate more of your positioning than your Ana does. So if we're standing on the open, our team follows us here. If we're standing behind cover, our team follows us behind cover, and therefore our whole team has good positioning, right? Now, this is one of the big ones they're about to go over in a second, is no man's land usage, and also we talk about choke point usage. So I'm going to assume that you're not familiar with the term no man's land in regards to Overwatch.
I'm assuming it's areas you don't want to stand at, right? Where you're in the middle of a choke point and people are going to light you up.
Yep, choke point would be choke point is like any funnel area, right? I'm assuming you're an Overwatch player. Overwatch players know what choke points are, right? That's like this right here, where you're funneled into this tiny little corridor where you don't have any cover, right? And they can shoot at you and spam you the whole way while you're walking through. No man's land you want to think of as like big, long, wide open areas kind of like choke points, but it's a wide open area without any cover. So along payload paths, most of that's going to be choke points, but there's some really defined ones. So for example, crossing this bridge, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
absolutely no cover in sight here, right? That means that if you're crossing through this long stretch of area here, that means that you are walking through the open where there's no cover and you're going to be taking a lot of damage. So whatever team's in the middle of this is going to be taking a lot of spam damage. So what we can do is we can sit here and we can spam them the entire way that they're trying to walk in, and now we get a
Mm-hmm.
ton of free damage in on them. Now, what happens if we push forwards here and we're holding up closer? And I'll demonstrate this how we were doing this early, before on the other parts too. But if we hold up closer, now this means that not only are we we're taking away their disadvantage, right? We're not just
Mm-hmm.
taking away their disadvantage, we're giving them an advantage because now they don't have to push through this area, but we have to get away from them, run backwards through this area, right? And we have to
Mm-hmm.
back up through this area, which puts us at the disadvantage. So we're taking and then we also don't get to utilize the advantage that we previously could have had. So we not only kind of take away their disadvantage and give it to ourselves, and take our advantage and give it to them, right? So now they have the advantage in that fight rather than us. So we instead want to be looking to hold behind this. So typically on a point, how it looked like is we poke here for a little bit. Once cart gets closer, then we just back up and we hold on this corner right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now we can hold the choke point. We don't want to hold up there too long because then the same exact concept applies here. The same concept applies to choke points. If we're holding at the front here and then they push into us too fast, then we have to walk backwards through this tiny little choke point where they can damage us very easily. So
Mm-hmm.
we want to rotate early and get here so that we can hold at the back of the choke point, right? Not at the front of it or in the middle of it.
I have a quick question.
Yep,
I
go
feel
ahead.
like when I'm backing up for an attack, I'm literally like backing up and attacking. But I notice you and a lot of players I like watch on YouTube and stuff. You will literally like turn around and go that way. Is it quicker to move forward than
You
just to move backwards?
Yes, you do have a faster movement speed when you turn around
Okay.
and walk forwards and walking backwards, but you can also walk backwards too. It depends on how fast you're trying to get out, right?
Okay.
And if you're how fast are you trying to retreat? How fast are you are you trying to do damage? You can if you're trying to like eat, for example, you can't walk backwards and eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you do have a slightly faster movement speed walking forwards than walking backwards.
Okay.
Already. So same concept applies here. I think that we did this like once or
The
twice.
big bridge, yeah.
So big bridge, no cover anywhere in sight, right? If we're
Mm-hmm.
standing on this, we can't stop damage from coming to us, and that means that if we are like defending here and we're holding at the very front of this, when they push into us, we are out in the open, not near any cover, and then that means that we take a bunch of extra damage,
Mm-hmm.
and we're doing the exact same thing where we're negating the advantage that we could have and giving it to them, where now we have to walk backwards through this wide open area. Whereas what we could be doing is usually teams here will hold up on the high grounds. That's probably where you want to be, is because we can hold the high ground, and then they have to walk through almost two lanes because they have to walk through that, and then they have to walk through this too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we hold the high grounds here, you can see how like we can now in bronze you're probably not gonna be able to coordinate too much of high ground usage here, but you can see you can probably usually you're gonna hold like somewhere around here, right? You can also hold the bottom corner, especially if you're not on any like um not any high ground characters. Like if you're on a Reinhardt, high ground's not gonna be too useful. So we can hold this bottom corner here. Even holding at the choke is going to be better than holding at the front here, holding at the very end of the bridge. So just anywhere but the front. But then also, if we're here, then we also have to back up through this open area unless we go inside. So it's really you just have to pay attention to
Mm-hmm.
these areas and make sure we're holding at the kind of the corners, not in the back, not in the front or in the middle of them.
Is high ground always preferred or almost always preferred?
Almost always preferred as long as it's like near or like on top of the fight, right?
Okay.
Because from a high ground advantage, like we talked about all those advantages it gives us, and we can get over and around shields. We can get people in the shoot people in the back line. We can, if we need to drop the contest point, we can do that as a tank especially. But we usually want to start off on a high ground. Gives it means that like half the characters in the game can't get to us. So and it gives us a lot of good angles. So a lot of survivability, a lot of visibility. So a lot that comes with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. That all makes sense.
Yep, that all makes perfect sense.
Okay. So then we went through the other stuff. Yeah, you had good usage of the mechanics, and then probably say the other major area that I'm seeing that needs worked on top of the positioning is just our general aggression and knowing when to be aggressive and when to be passive, as that is another one we struggle with, especially knowing when to be aggressive, as a lot of the times we're playing too passive when we could be looking to push forward and get aggressive. So yeah, you can probably look to go ahead and get into a queue and then stream up again. I'm gonna stop the stream here.
Yeah, at that one time I was trying to be more aggressive after getting that, but totally out of position. I had no
Yep.
cover on the bridge.
Okay, so now that we've gotten some stuff out of the way, I might be a little bit more vocal with like giving you reminders of like,
That's fine.
this is where you should be positioning. Pay attention to kill feed, right? This is where we should be pushing, that type of thing. I message my manager and tell him saw him in the game.
How long have you been playing Overwatch?
I've been playing Overwatch since season 3, so
Oh yeah, you said that in your bio.
yep, 3 or 4 years. I don't even know how many years that is now, but like 3 or 4 years. It might have been 3 years or 4 years by now.
Welcome to Blizzard Well. Prepare your defenses. Select your hero.
What's good again? Fear? I'm glad you that last game.
There is no obligation for the universe to make sense to you.
Everybody got Mike?
Yep.
Up here, bro.
So,
What's good, fellas?
I never got to ask because we kind of started too fast here. How, let's say like the past 2 weeks or so, how often have you been playing the game?
On PS4, probably about 10 hours a week. PC, I just started playing last 3 days, but over the weekend, I've put in about 12 hours.
All right.
You did what?
Honestly, like you have superb, like besides those like the specific things we're talking about, you're actually, I'd probably say, much higher than bronze in those other categories. So if you put in the time, I think you'll definitely start to see a climb.
Dude, how do you feel about Pornhub taking off all
So
the-
here we probably want to we're gonna try to back up to all the way pretty much to the point. We can even start there is start all the way back at the point. If your team decides to go into bad positioning, then you go with them. You don't want to be the one person not with the fight. But I think they also kind of followed us in there.
So that's true. Okay.
Genji up top now?
Yep. Okay, so you won the fight here.
We'll keep moving forward.
Yeah, you can look to pick off the kills, but I was also just gonna say, like, if you see that your whole team's doing something stupid, go and do it with them.
Genji left again.
It was Jane, who's an professional Overwatch coach. He said, you know, if one person's doing something stupid, that's called feeding. If 6 people are doing something stupid, that's called a strategy, right? So
That's actually hilarious.
Hog strap, hog strap.
How bad, yo?
Oh, I got their honor right before she fucking slapped in.
all right, so try to
Roadhog left.
pay attention to the team comps you're working with. Every single game we get into, the first thing we're paying attention to is team comp, because team comp dictates play style. Because we have a Reinhardt, we no longer is acting as the main tank. We are now kind of the off tank here. So we're very nice eat. So basically what that means is that we should be kind of standing behind a Reinhardt, not in front of him.
I got pinned. Fuck. I thought I avoided it. But that makes sense. Reinhardt's main tank, so I'm behind him now.
Yeah,
I
Sigma's in a weird place because he is a kind of main tank slash off tank, so he can act as both. It really depends on your comp. So here we don't want to be up in the front line, like super far up, because that means that the enemy Reinhardt can swing on us. So we just want to be pretty much standing right behind our Reinhardt.
Okay.
And if you come down here, I
Okay.
can heal you.
Other thing is just make sure you're kind of trying to open up the fights with your shift whenever you see a ton of damage coming in. That way we can just get a bunch of health going, right? And we can, yep, that's good. Good. I like that you're dropping your shield. Just try to get that habit to be going faster too, so you can drop it like instantly whenever you shift.
Should I start moving back because they're pulling so close, or stay with my team? I guess, right?
Yeah. When your Reinhardt is pushing forward like that, you want to go forward and support him, right? If we're
Damn, I
backing
was
up,
too slow on that.
yeah. Now here the fight's lost. We need to be thinking: are we getting out or are we trying to die here? All right, so pay attention when you come out of spawn here where your team's at, right? So your team,
Okay.
you still have people dying, right? You have teams walking out of spawn. That's what you call a stagger. You might have heard the term before, but that means that you right here died super late, and now either your team has to wait for you and waste a bunch of time, or they end up walking in without you, and then now they're walking in at a disadvantage, right? So
If they have less people, yeah.
yep, exactly. So we want to make sure that we're trying to sync up with our team,
And
and
we're
if
seeing them stagger now too.
Yep.
Just died.
exactly, right? So that means that essentially we ourselves don't want to stagger by making sure that whenever we see that we lose, we look to get out if possible, and if we can't get out, we want to just let them kill us. Right? Because just running away and then getting caught out just means that we end up staggering. A thing that you might want to try going for with your ult, especially if you know that they have a blade, or you see them blading, is you can use your ultimate to counter the blade by looking to just solo ult the Genji.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I hit Q on accident, actually, on that one. I didn't need to.
Yep, so if you see him doing it, or if you can guess ahead of time that he has it, then we can look to stop him, especially if he has a nano, that means that you're stopping two ults at the same time. Alright, we gotta try to do our best. Now, he kind of ran in right on top of us. We gotta do our best to put some distance between ourselves and Reinhardt, as he does have kind of superior brawling, right? He's gonna be able to kill us better if we're at a close range. So we want to put some distance in between us and him.
I've had Reinhardt whoop my ass a lot of times.
Yep.
Score 0-3. Switching sides. Prepare to attack. Select your hero.
I do that a lot too, I find, where I'm trying to back up to get away, and I think there's a door there, but I ended up backing into the wall and just getting walloped on. I do that all the time. Like, I swear to God, I just came through the door, and now I'm backing up, and I'm going nowhere.
Yeah, that's gonna come with general, game knowledge and awareness, right? The more you play, the more you'll be aware of the map.
Yeah, I think we'll do better than they did there.
Just full commit when we get up here, unless they break your shield right away.
Yeah, I mean if we can get a pick, I mean I'll aim for heads.
If they try to dive, I'm a stun. Make sure y'all focus straight away. Let's just get them right out of there.
Depending on who it is. If they got a ball or a monkey.
I think the Reinhardt was like pushing forward a lot. We should probably punish him for that, right?
The enemy Reinhardt, yep, we can look to rock him. We can look to just get a little bit aggressive on him, and try to finish him off before he gets away. Yep, so that's always a good thing to try to identify.
Genji up top.
I hit him.
Where'd our Reinhardt go? To the right.
Oh, I forgot to mention, but you're gonna have to have points in time where you have to walk through no man's land, right? Like right now, that's where you look to go from piece of cover to piece of cover. You're trying to go from cover to cover to cover, right? And you're kind of taking pit stops at everything and looking to recharge health, recharge shields, that type of deal.
Where's Reinhardt? Over here.
If
Genji
you
back.
want,
Or Hanzo back, I mean. What were we saying?
I'll talk about it afterwards.
Does he not get stunned when he's nanoed?
He wasn't nano there, and
Oh, I thought he was.
he was burning, and then I think you also
Oh,
missed
he's on
it.
fire.
You sometimes if you thought you got it because of the damage indicator, you can do damage without actually stunning the person if it hits right next to them.
I gotcha.
Okay, so the thing I want to say is, you can look to take what's called off angles. So especially if you have another main tank, you
Mhm.
can look to take a different. You don't have to basically follow them around. You can look to take a different side than your
So,
tank.
like, over here.
Yep, or basically, yeah, you can do this over here, but like kind of like when you're going to point, how it forks, right? You can look to take the other side rather than to go to the same side as him, and then you can create a crossfire effect where you're shooting at them from another direction, and you can get behind their shields that way.
Reinhardt stopped me over here, so should I go
Yeah.
back to them?
Yeah, here, when you're just walking up through main, this is where you can kind of follow your team. You don't need to do too much of a flank, but especially when you're going up on the point, it'd be a good idea. So the crossfire allows you to get behind shields. It means that you kind of split their attention, and they have to look at two different things.
Oh, I thought I hit it already.
Yeah, we're up a bunch of picks, so looking to get aggressive here.
Shit.
Yeah, because even before the Reinhardt kind of charged into you guys, you started backing up, right? Even though we were up 2 picks. So right now we pretty much won this. So we're just looking to get aggressive. So there, if you're looking, you see how the kind of the road forks, and you have 2 options. You just go taking an off angle is just taking a different angle from your
I
team.
gotcha. So if he went right around here, I would have gone.
Yep,
left
exactly.
Here.
Okay, here we can probably look to go to take high ground from them on the left side.
Up here.
Nope, not your high ground. You can push
Oh,
forward
over
ahead,
here.
right?
I see what you're saying.
Yep.
Over here.
Typically on payload maps, you only need really 1 person on cart because no matter what, you're gonna pretty much have 2 fights that you need to win. So here we don't want to push too far forwards, but we want to look to take control of this high ground so we can kind of take the off angle.
Should I drop down?
Well, if you feel like you're being kind of threatened there. The big thing is you taking high ground takes it away from them as well, right? So it's not just putting you at an advantage, but it's also putting them at the disadvantage.
Oh, I thought that was there, Bob. I got really scared.
Okay. With awareness, you might do good to just make sure you're turning around more often. Just do a 360 once in a while. Take a look at what's happening, because sometimes we don't even pay attention to when there's people and like enemies behind us, right? And we don't see what's up with our team, and we don't see what our team's doing, right? So looking behind us can get a good grasp on like, do we have people walking back from spawn? Are there any flankers behind us, right? So you always want to just stare straight forwards. Okay, so here we got some picks. Just push forward, right? Look to get those stagger kills on them. Yep, you can like go super hard here. You can push the Hanzo too.
I don't know where the hell he went. Oh.
You don't have to be scared of him. You have a much better kit to duel than he does, right? You have a shield,
Really?
you have E, you have twice his health, right? You have a rock. You know, Hanzo has got nothing on a Sigma when it comes to a 1v1.
Ah. Is that Genji waiting for me to pull my ult before?
Well, it's possible. You could have also just used it a little bit later there.
Because I feel like it's happened like 3 times where he'll pop his ult after I use my ult.
Unexpected but not unwelcome development.
and we're at a disadvantage now.
Yep. Right now, at most we just can poke a little bit, right? Get a little bit of damage, but we don't want to push at all, right? We don't want to risk dying here. And if we push too far, then our team might end up getting the wrong message, and they might push too far,
Okay.
right? So we just have to be very, very careful. But we can look to just get a little bit of ult charge. And now our team's back.
That's
Right.
something I probably don't actively think about at all. It's just pulling ult charge. Oh shit, from behind. Like Hanzo snuck around.
How did he get the flank on us?
The breakthrough is near. I could feel it. Observe the barrier.
Very nice. Now you're starting off the fight with like 700 health. Yeah, we got a pick. We also were just playing a little bit far back there. Right now we're just playing super aggressive. Oh. Listen up, you. Make sure you're keeping your ears open. You did get shot at from a hog who's behind you right now.
Okay. So if I hear something like that, make sure I investigate it.
Yep, exactly, right. Or you call it out to your team. You can push it yourself. You might not want to like try. The hog is gonna beat you if you try to 1v1 him. Oh,
Storm arrow.
yeah. Usually they're whenever you're throwing out a shield, make sure you're just kind of tapping it so it's going right in front of
I
you.
put it too far.
Yeah, you put it too far. Unless you're trying to do something very specific with your shield, usually you're just gonna tap it so it's going just like an inch in front of you. Right, that way there went too far, and then he's just able to walk past it. And then on top of that, just remember you have shift, you have rock, so just use all your
Yeah, I should have
abilities.
shifted there.
Yep.
I missed that shit. Okay. I got ult at the end. We ended up not needing it. But now we're at a big disadvantage.
No, time-wise, but it's still definitely better than not getting anything at all.
That's true. Is there a program you can use to practice aiming as well? I feel like I've seen like the pros or something practice by clicking on dots.
With Sigma, Sigma's a little bit different, and I don't think that you'd find that because he's a projectile character. You probably wouldn't get very much
That's not hit
use.
scan.
Yeah, you wouldn't get much use out of using an aim trainer. Though what you can do is you can go, and I can give you like a custom game mode to take a look at, and you can go into that with Sigma.
Okay.
And I'll just send you the whole video, but you can. This is a video on practice training your aim, but you can pretty much you kind of get the same concept with Sigma, probably.
Okay.
But to be honest, your aim seems very, very solid. It's just, the a little bit of inconsistencies that come in.
Get inside.
Let's make sure that this fucking Genji doesn't get any early picks.
Okay, thank you for sending that.
Yeah, no problem.
I like Sigma because of the explosions, because I feel like generally my aim kind of sucks.
Mhm.
But with the leading of the projectiles, I think it's not as bad. But for like hit scans
Yeah.
and stuff, I think I suck ass.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different skill set. But you do have very, very good mechanics when it comes to, aiming with Sigma so far. Some people miss, like, every single shot.
Really?
Yeah, even at the higher ranks, they miss a lot more than you.
Well, that makes me feel better, I guess. Our Reinhardt pinned the Reinhardt.
Yep.
I should have used the shift there instead of the shield,
Yep. Right now we're up a bunch of picks. Right.
so we can be aggressive.
Yep, so just right now we're only up like one, right? So we're just a tad bit more aggressive.
Oh, I thought that was their Reinhardt.
How did their run?
It was their Reinhardt.
Oh shit. Well,
Yep.
I got scared that he was doing it to me. I mean.
Yeah, their Reinhardt was kind of on our sideline, so if we were paying attention, we probably could have gone and helped our Reinhardt with him. There was a big old fight happening to our side. Yeah, you just gotta. A lot of times we're also like with our awareness, we're kind of tunnel visioning on like just what's straight forwards, right? So we gotta make sure that we're also paying attention to our sides, to our back line, because we end up missing a lot of what's happening just all around us. So
Yeah, got her.
keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, look around you, do a 360 once in a while. That way you actually know what's happening. You're not
Can
tunnel
I
visioning.
do increase my sensitivity and make it easier to do a 360? Because I kind of move my mouse quite a bit to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you can increase your sensitivity. It really depends on how big your mouse pad is, and you know if
It's
you,
not
you
very
should.
big.
Yeah, you should be. You don't need to do a 360. I meant more like a 180, right? Because you can do
Okay.
a 180 means that you're turning completely around, and then you can just turn around the other direction, right? So
Stay on point. Somebody stay on point. Ah!
Fair on point.
when it's overtime, you can have more than one person on point. That's a time where you can.
Okay, to make sure that it keeps moving.
Yep. Make sure you're not standing behind your team, right?
Okay.
Oh,
I just worried someone's gonna leave point, but I
Yep,
should trust
you can be standing on point from a little bit of ways, right? You can uh you can try to find words. Sorry, you can take a look at the range at some point, but it's a little bit bigger than you would think at first glance.
Pick up this auto. Pick up this auto.
Especially when you know that they don't have stuns, you can look to get a little bit closer to the
Nano
people
blade.
that you're. I'll talk out there.
Oh, that Genji's good.
Down.
Thanks, stay alive. Thanks, stay alive for coming.
Ultimate. We're done.
Alrighty. When it comes to fluxing, right? When they don't have stuns, you can look to get a little bit closer to them to make it easier to land the shots, right? And then trying to snipe people. So like on the Zarya and the Genji, for example. Besides that, we just had some trouble trying to track the Zarya, or the Pharah there, so we kind of lost track of her.
I did.
Taking advantage of these Ryan mistakes. No Ryan, they don't win. As long as we don't let Genji get any picks, man.
Dude, I've been two-tapping Genji so many times.
I've been fucking him up too, catching him
I
with some
feel
stuns.
bad.
How do you deal with the toxicity of Overwatch sometimes? Do you just kind of
43.
Toxicity as in
Damage going.
toxicity as in you being toxic or a team being toxic?
the rest of the team being toxic?
So you have a few different things at your disposal, right? First off is mute. Second off is reporting. Third off is you can look to avoid those people. So just do your best to, as soon as somebody's being toxic, just mute them straight up, right? You don't. The more you let them talk, the more it's gonna upset you, and then the worse you're gonna be playing.
Yeah.
And then finally, just really just don't look to take anything anybody's saying to heart, right? If you're taking what someone's saying like if they're being toxic, then really you can try to, if it's not towards you and it's towards something else, you can look to defuse the situation by saying like, hey, is that gonna actually help us win the game? By down focus, right? But other than that, it really comes down to ignoring it and trying to avoid it.
Oh, I got died. Ana got me. Coming back with bastard.
Fuck! I missed the rock.
Backline.
We can hold it. We can hold it.
Just gotta revive.
Oh, yeah, no, can't play. Can't play.
The rest of my team was dead, right?
Yeah, and that like at the very end there, or what?
Yeah, at the very end there. I don't know what
Yep.
I could have done to
Yep.
help
At
them.
that point, the fight had been lost.
For a little bit.
I think we just I don't think there was anything in particular that we did wrong there. Sometimes you just end up losing fights. Not every fight has something,
Yeah, I'm getting pissed.
Okay.
but most of them will. Right. So here, we're just looking to go in whenever we get our team back up.
Genji's dead.
I hit accretion on accident. I went into the accretion to try to block the damage my team was taking.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something I shouldn't have done? Should
No,
I have stayed out?
That's something you can do. Yeah, that's definitely something you can do. You can use it to put shield. Bear. Oh,
That's a very shitty ultimate.
yeah.
Oh.
In that situation, what you want to do is look to die, because there's no way you're getting out there, right? So you look to die, but die on point, because then you can stall it, and they can't push it until you die, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, I got you.
Yes, exactly, because you can contest it, right, until they kill you. So that way you stall more time for your team, and your stagger doesn't do as much, right? And then that also means that they kill you faster, right? And because they're forced to kill you.
I think it's over.
When you're trying to get back to point like that, probably be best to swap to like a character like Ball, as you can get back super fast.
Oh, just to get back quicker?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm not good at ball at all, though. I am terrible at ball.
Yeah, a lot of time it's fine as long as you're getting back faster and stalling, and you'll get used to them as you start playing. So yeah, in that situation, first off, we ulted when we probably could have held on to it, because that had been a lost fight, right? And we were using it when it was a 1v6. So if we had held on to that, we could have maybe recontested with our ultimate. And then on top of that, we also ended up staggering, so we're coming back super late, right? So in that situation, we probably should have died on cart instead of trying to run away, and instead of using our ultimate.
Should I switch to Diva instead? I'm decent
Yeah,
at Diva.
yes, Diva's also better than Sigma for contest, right? Because she's has much more mobility, so she'll be getting back faster. So yeah, Diva would be better as well. And then on top of that, especially when you're trying to just flat out contest and stall, right? So you're just trying to stay alive and keep as much time as you can. Diva's a little bit more is gonna stay alive a little bit longer than Sigma, because she has her out of mech state, right? So it takes an extra second to kill her. Alrighty, so we're not gonna have enough time for another comp game. Why don't we do a recap here real quick with the last couple minutes that we have. So I'll just stream into it so we can get some visuals going. So big major thing that we talked about was just our positioning. Again, we have very decent mechanics, and we have good I think our shield placement our shield usage, I think, was decent, and after we started using it a little bit more, I think our shift usage was a lot better as well. At the beginning we weren't using it enough, but we started using it at good times, so I like our shift usage afterwards. Rocks we do decently. Just make sure you're not trying to use it on shields, because that doesn't do much. You're trying to hit people with them. Shield placement, I think, is going to get better as you get better positioning as well, so just make sure we're looking to place it on corners. And whenever you're trying to rotate in and out your shield and your eat, so that we're kind of taking up extra. We're not getting kind of overlapping with it. We're getting extra protection going for our team. When you're looking for a shift, unless they have something that can stun you, like for example, like if they have a Sigma Rock or a Hog Hook, then if they don't have anything like that that can just go through your shift, look to get like a little bit aggressive with your shift, so that you can look to eat up more damage, right? So for example, you can step ahead of your Reinhardt shield, step ahead of your team, make them all look at you, and that way we can get some more tanking, and also get some more health from that. Ultimate usage, very, very good. Just look to make sure you're not using it when fights are won and lost. And you're also looking to, when nothing can contest you, you're looking to get a little bit closer. So, if they don't have anything that can stun us, we're looking to float towards them to shoot them. So we can ult, float towards the person. Oh, I missed both shots, but float towards the person while we're kind of midair there. So the shots become a little bit easier than trying to snipe them. Another major thing is paying attention to kill feed and when we're winning or losing fights. And then that's going to allow us to really get to kind of manage our aggression and when we should be doing what. So 1 to 2 people is a win or advantage or disadvantage. 2 to 3 people is a win or a loss. Make sure you're not staggering yourselves, because that was another big thing, was that we ended up staggering a lot, and then our team ended up staggering a lot. So we can look to. I think you said you communicate a little bit because you had to mute your mic at the very beginning. So if you're looking to communicate with your team, just, we can say things like, hey, no assaults, we lost. No assaults, we won. Right? Group up, guys, where you're going. Don't go in without don't go in, you're down 2 people. Right? Communicate when people are staggering. Communicate when, you can tell them, hey, go die in point, we lost the fight. Right? That type of deal. So we can kind of help them kind of get in the loop on that end as well. Besides, I think so that was kind of all the main. We touched on all the different areas we talked about. Main points. So number one thing is going to be our positioning, as our positioning affected our survivability, and we were dying a ton, and we weren't using cover. We weren't using. We talked about no man's land usage and choke point usage, and making sure we're holding at the back end of them, not the front or the middle. Then when it comes to the second thing we're taking main point, second biggest thing to work on is going to be paying attention to kill feed, and then that feeds into your aggression and when you're doing what. Probably say third thing is your staggering, and that's going to be another part of kill feed. So that's so then that's going to be like the third thing is like we're staggering quite a bit, and then that meant that, and then even our team staggering too, we can help communicate with that, and then that way we're not kind of wasting time or making our team go in without us, and then not using our ultimate when we could have came in with an ultimate, right? Besides that, we're doing very, very solid in a lot of different areas, and I think that if you play more often, you'll definitely see a climb. But climbing's not really going to be a possibility if you don't play often, because you just don't have the time to do it. But I definitely feel like you played very well. We just made a lot of mistakes that resulted in deaths when we probably could have stayed alive a lot longer, or when we tried to stay alive longer and then ended up dying late.
Right.
Alrighty. So
there's situations in which I should have just stayed on point, pushed forward, and let them kill me. Then.
Yep.
Because
Exactly.
my team's already lost.
Yeah. Exactly. So when we know that our team's lost the fight already, but we don't want to try to back up and then just let them kill us, and then now we just kind of threw because we end up staggering ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think we'll add in one more piece. I'll just talk about one more thing, and then I'll just wrap up at the end. So one more thing is just keep in mind when we're reading kill feed that there's a lot of other things that go into our aggression. It's not just kills. That's why the 2 there is the middleman, right? 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3. The reason why 2 is in the middle is because there's a lot of other things that go into it. Which team has more health? Which team has more ultimates? Which team is in the process of using more ultimates? Which team has better positioning, right? Which team, or those are the kind of the main points there. So when you see, for example, let's say we're up or we're down 2, but we just used a big combo like a Nano Blade, or we just used like Grav Dragon. We might not be losing that fight because we used a big combo that's probably going to get us a bunch of kills back. Or let's say we're down 2, but their entire team is 1 HP in a very bad position. Well, now, even though we're down a bunch of people, we still have a possibility of flipping that fight because there's other things that kind of impact that, right? So that's a situation where like 2 people being down isn't going to be a lost fight. So there's other things that go into it besides just the players, but player count is a very big indicator. Alrighty, so do you have any questions on anything that we've gone over?
No, it all makes a lot of sense.
Double kill.
Just making sure more that I'm staying in the correct position.
Okay.
I guess is important for me.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, watching the kill feed, I almost never watch kill feed, honestly.
Yep. Exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna end the recording.